This is the Freedom Ring.
Yes, it is. And apologies on behalf of Rumble. The alert for our show on Friday did not go out.
The video was there, but the alert, the notifications didn't go out. So if you missed it, it's still there. You don't want to miss that show Friday.
It was a great show. Yeah. There was people, obviously, that go and they find it on their own, but I got a couple of messages saying, I didn't get the alert yet. Where is it?
And then we became aware later that apparently they were having some notification issues. So,
and I almost took that as a pat on the back because we have other shows that we're fans of, and for instance, Scott McKay in the Patriot Street Fighter. He gets knocked off YouTube all the time.
Yeah.
He's got multiple channels. And who else? David Nino Rodriguez. Huge fan of his unique delivery. He's awesome. And his lack of filter. That's I'm a huge fan of Nino. And who else? Oh, X22 report's been knocked off. And I was like, really? We're only a week into our show and we're already getting knocked off?
That means we're doing good.
That means we're talking about stuff that's right over the target.
No doubt.
And we got everything dialed in for today?
I think we're good.
I'm getting whistles in my ears.
Well.
Or is that you?
That was me.
Oh, really? Like the sweatshirt, do you? This is the Freedom Ring. I'm Matt Toludo. That is Bill Spry. Clarence Thomas, one of the big stories we'll be getting to in just a little while. Turns out he wasn't sick after all. And when it happened, I'd be lying if I wasn't questioning this, and I'm glad we have the details, which we'll be getting to. But
oh yeah, I know what you're referring to.
Yeah, the story that that everyone's talking about today is Will Smith slapping Chris Rock across the face for making a joke about Jada Pinkett's shaved head at the Oscars last night. Will later apologized to the Academy after winning Best Actor, but he didn't apologize to Chris Rock. The LAPD says Chris declined to press charges. They were made aware of a scuffle at the awards ceremony, and if the involved party desires a police report at a later date, the LAPD will be available to complete an investigative report.
So the police were in on the acting too, huh?
No. All right, you got to realize he doesn't believe anything. All right,
I question everything.
He questions everything. He's borderline flat earther, and I don't watch the award shows anymore.
Me neither.
Back in the 80s and 90s, they were just held, in my opinion, at a different caliber. And coming from someone that has. When it comes to the sense of humor, my bar is really low. I really enjoy dirty humor. But when it comes to, family shows, the Oscars, the Emmys, the Grammys, the American Music Awards, back in the day when, rock was actually acknowledged, it was just a better show, in my opinion. Man, I'm just getting old. Every generation and things flip.
Well, the music was better in those days, too. So there was a reason to tune in.
When it comes to the actual music award shows, yeah, you're right. It was. But that's another sign of us getting old.
No,
you just
sign
don't
of the music
understand.
sucks.
Yeah. The content's miserable as hell.
Yeah, it is.
When it comes to rock, it's like, my dad didn't hold me enough, so I'm dragging this razor blade across my throat. Oh, yeah!
Yeah, I want to buy that. Do you have it in purple vinyl?
Right? What happened to, TNA, fun, hey, Ted Nugent used to sing, working hard, playing hard, helps me get through. It's talking about partying on the weekends.
The soul and spirit of rock and roll is gone.
Yeah, AC/DC.
Yeah. Now they're still good.
You're still recording that same song?
Yeah. Well, it's got a twist now.
Well, Angus, it worked for the first 45 years, so let's do it again. All right, Brian.
Now, wait a minute. That sounded like Harrison.
No, that was Angus.
Oh, okay.
Oh, George Harrison?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. the only Beatle I can do is pull Rum-a-lubba ding dong. That's about it. And that is a direct ripoff from Dana Carvey. I cannot claim that one. But when it comes to last night's Oscars, Bill doesn't think it was real. After I found out the Oscars was sponsored by Pfizer, and they have a financial contribution to this show, too, like every newscast of the last couple of years, like every game show of the last couple of years, like almost everything that was being pushed down your throat the last couple of years.
Hollywood in general.
Right.
And our politicians in general. Yeah.
Was it fake? I don't think it was fake. Was it staged? Hugely possible. Because I saw Pfizer sponsor. As soon as I saw Pfizer's logo, I'm like, eh. And the only reason I saw it, because, again, I wasn't watching it, I saw a friend of mine in Milwaukee, Chris, posted it. He took a snapshot as they went to commercial. Tonight's Oscar is brought to you by Pfizer and BioNTech. I'm like, are you kidding? They're not even hiding it anymore. They're just
not at all.
Their logo's right in your face.
Yeah.
As soon as you see that, you know big dollars are being spent on an agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
What's his name? Rock?
Chris Rock?
Chris Rock. You don't think that was a hologram? I mean, come on, watch it again, man. No, I'm
the
kidding.
stage looked really flat because the earth is flat. Ask him.
I don't know.
And you didn't do drugs in the 60s.
No. Maybe that was my problem.
That surprises me because I can see you going, I don't think it's round, man. I think it's one giant football field we live on, man. But you never did that.
I did. I listened to a lot of weird rock and roll, though.
Maybe you were too sober. Maybe you were too straight. You were the guy that was too straight. You were so straight you're messed up.
I'm the guy that did what my mom said. Billy, go to your room.
And I didn't.
Okay, Mom.
See how I turned out? A little bit more level-headed.
Now, for the record, I don't necessarily believe in flat Earth. I just am willing to listen.
Here comes the back pedal.
I'm just willing to listen.
You're willing to listen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you take notes and convey them to me when you're done.
I won't remember any of it after I'm done. That's the problem.
But you've got all the brain power from lack of drugs in the 60s. It's not making sense. See, if you came in and you say, I ate all the brown acid at Woodstock, I'd believe you.
Okay. I ate all the brown acid in... where?
All right. So, you thought it was a hologram. Are you being serious? Or are you just trying to ruffle my feathers?
And I'm ruffling your feathers. I think it was staged. Because, as I told you earlier, if somebody hit me like that, I'd have been on the floor.
Chris Rock did not move.
He didn't hardly move at all.
He's either a badass and stood his ground, or there could be... I mean, you have to take in consideration they both do what for a living? Forget Chris Rock makes you laugh as a comedian. He's also an... actor.
Exactly. And if you watch that video again, he didn't hit him.
You don't buy any of it?
No, I don't. He didn't hit him. There was no contact there. There was acting.
My initial reaction would be to that, but did you see the way he responded when he went back and took his seat? That was genuine anger. But then we come back to they're actors.
Exactly. I've seen that genuine anger on video.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All of his movies. Didn't he do that as Ali? I think he did. And then I got to come back to the fact that it was sponsored by Pfizer.
Yeah.
And
they're trying to make, in my opinion...
I'm not a flat earther.
They're trying to make violence okay. I mean, think of all the kids, the children that watched that.
That's the problem. Whether it was staged or not, that's the problem I have, is because now it almost justifies the idiots in insert big city here, but most of it's coming from New York City, where you just see these scumbags walking up on total innocent people and beating them to a pulp. Last week, I think I saw... it was a 14-year-old boy getting pummeled.
Yes,
in the
I did
hallway.
See that. 3 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And beat him to a pulp.
Yes. And I could just, envision a 14-year-old that I know, a family member. It just turns my stomach. He was just there defenseless, getting beat to crap.
I don't understand.
And then you got Will Smith doing that on the Oscars, broadcasting worldwide.
Making it okay. I don't know, man. For me, I couldn't participate in that stuff. I've got a heart. I care about humanity and kids. I think of all of these things, when I see things like that, instantly they hit me.
Some people, celebrities, going on social media saying, hey, man, he's been raked through the coals and, he's one of the nicest guys and you can only take so much heat. You can only be the victim of jokes so many times, blah, blah, blah. Can't you pull him aside backstage and say, listen, bro?
Yeah.
That's my wife you're talking about.
Yeah.
Lay off, all right?
Yeah,
all right.
exactly.
Or you and I going out back.
That's why.
Why not that?
It was staged. It's just not normal. I mean, yeah, it really happened, but there was no contact, I don't believe, and it was staged. It was fake. I mean, and fake the way it was portrayed.
Like it wasn't an actual outburst.
Yeah.
Moving on to another huge story. This one really sucks because he was one of the nicest guys in rock. Taylor Hawkins, drummer from the Foo Fighters, dead at the age of 50, passed away in Colombia on Friday night. They were out there for Lollapalooza. Still no word on the cause of death, but local officials say that he had 10 different drugs in his system, including marijuana. I don't think the ganj would kill him, but if it was sprinkled with something, that's a possibility. It's happened. Opioids were in the system. Tricyclic, I'm going to butcher these medical terms, I'm sorry. Tricyclic antidepressants and benzodiazepines. Which are used to relieve stress and anxiety and to help people sleep. He passed away as fans were starting to gather for the band's performance at Lollapalooza in Bogota. Paramedics responded to a call about a patient with chest pains. Chest pains, bookmark that. When they arrived, they were unable to revive him. Obviously, the show was canceled. Now, not being at... This is a shame, man. And this story sucks. I hate the fact that this story is even a story, because he should have been alive for another 35 years at least.
Yeah.
And great dude, great drummer, great band. Dave Grohl lost Kurt Cobain in Nirvana. Now he's losing Taylor. Not being asked was his passing the result of the... Gotta ask that. Why? Because it's worthy of discussion. Because chest pains, sudden heart attacks, myocarditis, and more have been listed as possibilities from the first batch of info from the Pfizer reports that were sealed for 75 years.
Until they were unsealed.
Until they were unsealed because of court proceedings, and now they're a couple thousand pages at a time or whatever the amount is. And that first batch, you and I both, almost everyone I know, we went through and saw, it was like, oh my God, all these things that could go wrong have gone wrong.
What they've been saying is really true.
Right. The reason you should be questioning these is legit. And I'm not trying to ruffle feathers or anything, but it's worthy of the discussion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or does this get brushed? Hey, don't look over here.
This one ain't going to be brushed. This is genocide, in my opinion. It's killing people everywhere. And I was telling you earlier, graphene.
I'm going to play both sides of the fence here.
Sure.
There is a chance that this isn't what did him in.
Yeah, that's possible too.
Let's say that, but it's worthy of the discussion, and ain't nobody brought it up yet.
And didn't you say just a couple nights prior he had a show?
Yeah, they were at another Lollapalooza. I don't have that city in front of me, but...
And these shots contain, as I understand, graphene.
And they do what?
And graphene is like a metal substance. And as I've read, they're like basically a billion little razor blades that are floating around in your blood. And once you get these in your blood, you can't get rid of them. And so therefore, if you're having a show... beating on them drums.
It's like running down a football field.
Blood flow much faster. You're pumping and pumping, which means you're ripping and ripping and cutting and slicing quite a bit more.
Tissue.
More damage. Yeah, tissue damage right in your heart. Man.
I'm just saying it's worthy of the discussion.
These are things I think about, when someone has this kind of a problem, or something like this happens.
Right. Is the Earth flat, and does he have the little razor blades?
I'm going to have to get Phil Godlewski in here with me, and he'll straighten you out on flat Earth. Dad, burn it.
I'll hear him. I might fall asleep, but I'll hear him. All right, so we also have an update on Bob Saget, right?
Yes, we do. The official story was that he hit his head on the bed. What do they call it? Headboard. Headboard, yeah. It's Monday.
Doesn't make sense at all why they call it that. Where'd they get that name?
Conspiracy.
Right.
Well, there's been some pictures that have been released of the alleged room where he died, and guess what the pictures showed?
I've seen it, so
okay.
It's not a headboard.
It's not a headboard, number one. Number two, it was made of foam. It's like a foam board.
I think most of us have been in decent hotels where there's a makeshift headboard, but it's actually a padded. It looked like leather in this particular case.
Yeah,
but
in fact, I've got a picture of it. I don't know if the camera.
It's patented. Just Google it. It's out there.
Pick it up.
Dude, they can Google it.
There
man.
you go. You see that back in the background there?
Rewind it. I didn't see it, and it's nowhere else.
So it's made of foam.
It's soft.
And I don't think that if he fell on that, he might not even notice.
The headboard might be soft for other reasons. But he was alone that night, so.
Well, that's why they make them.
Yes,
soft.
and they definitely didn't damage his head from falling on that.
And
it was carpeted.
Yeah, carpet on the floor. So come on. Next conspiracy. That's the conspiracy. Seriously. Wouldn't you agree?
Maybe.
I
just don't want to be labeled a flat earther, man. You're in that aisle yourself. There's something fishy on that story.
There is.
And
no question.
I don't think we have the truth. There's a couple different stories I don't think we have the truth. I still don't think we have the truth on Chris Cornell from Soundgarden, Chester Bennington from Linkin Park. Although, go ahead, label me a weirdo. You think this is the first time I've been called a weirdo in my life? I'm called weird since the 3rd grade. Huge news, according to Real Raw News. Apparently, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas was poisoned when he was reported sick. A high-ranking white hat military source who allegedly claimed that Thomas had ingested a near-lethal dose of thallium. Tasteless, colorless, and odorless. It's a gray post-transition metal that is not found in free nature. So what man-made, right? When isolated, thallium resembles tin, but discolors when exposed to air. Soluble thallium salts, many of which are nearly tasteless, are highly toxic and were historically used in rat poisons and insecticides. Because of its historic popularity as a murder weapon, thallium has gained notoriety as the poisoner's poison and inheritance powder. I haven't seen the mainstream media cover this.
No, you won't.
This leaked over the weekend, and
the source was Real Raw News.
I think it's kind of a big story. We're talking, talking about a possible dead
SCOTUS.
Yeah, SCOTUS. Before getting sick, Thomas and his wife, Virginia, a.k.a. Ginny, dined at an upscale eatery in D.C. Several hours later, he experienced symptoms such as difficulty concentrating, gastrointestinal distress. It's one reason I didn't get into the medical field, because I'd butcher this. But I got into a speaking field where I continue to butcher this. Gastrointestinal distress, shortness of breath, vomiting, and diarrhea. He took Tums and Mylanta to ease the discomfort, but as symptoms worsened, his wife insisted he visit the hospital. At Sibley Hospital, doctors tested him for the big COV, and it was negative, either by intent or sheer incompetence, they say. Physicians diagnosed him with a nonspecific upper respiratory viral infection, An ordinary person would have been sent home with antibiotics, but Justice Thomas, because of his position, was admitted for observation. One source said, quote, when we learned that he got sick and was admitted to Sibley, it aroused suspicion. We've heard reports the deep state might try to take out conservative justices. It's customary that people in his position be sent to Walter Reed instead for admission. We considered it a real possibility this was a deep state attack. Quote, at that point, we believed Thomas's life might be in danger. His wife was at first apprehensive, but in the end agreed to have him moved. The White Hats, he added, transported Thomas, and as a precaution, his wife to a secret location from where their physicians could rigorously evaluate his condition. A blood test on Thomas confirmed their worst suspicions. Someone had poisoned him. A urinalysis corroborated the blood work. Thomas had high concentrations of thallium in his bloodstream. Goes on to say the blood work at Sidley would have shown it. There's absolutely no... Again, why wasn't this on mainstream media? And this is huge. The blood work at Sidley would have shown it. There's absolutely no way the doctors there could have missed it. I'm not leveling accusations at any specific person or persons because we don't know yet the full facts, but we'll get to the bottom of this. Under care of white hat doctors, Thomas received treatments of a medication that flushes thallium through the digestive tract and several hemodialysis treatments to remove excessive thallium from the bloodstream. We're assuming he ate poisoned food at the restaurant, but can't absolutely confirm that because thallium can be administered in small doses slowly over time or in one large lethal dose. The investigation is ongoing, and we've taken steps to ensure conservative justices who really are conservative justices get additional protection. That's scary as hell.
It's very scary.
And that didn't get covered?
Panic in D.C.
And another Trump rally in, I forget what state. Was
it Georgia?
Georgia,
yeah.
Over the weekend. Another huge rally of a former president, and that gets zero coverage, although all the mainstream media outlets are there.
Well, there weren't that many people there. It was only 25 to 35,000, so is it worth talking about?
Oh, wait, hold on. For Donald Trump, it was a small turnout. For anybody else...
Yeah.
You know, if this bumbling fool we've got in the White House right now had 25,000 people show up, oh my God!
If he had
the biggest audience known to man.
If he had 25 people show up, there would have been a national holiday.
Can you guys stand closer and we'll just get multiple camera angles like they do at the TV shows?
But no closer than 6 feet.
Right. Wait, they don't have masks on. Yes, they did.
Stand on that X with the duct tape there. Unbelievable.
So,
speaking of Clarence Thomas,
right.
I've got some...
the story he's got might actually trigger this one.
Yeah, could be. The interesting thing I'll say right up front is this was actually on Fox News. They actually
almost
did...
gagged on my coffee. What?
Yeah. Fox News actually did this story. So basically, Democrat lawmakers and several legal scholars are criticizing Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas for not recusing himself in January 6th related cases after reports indicated his wife sent a series of texts.
He must go.
Yeah, I don't need to finish anymore. You got to go. No need to hear the story.
Thallium.
Yeah.
More, sir, more.
So there was his wife sent a series of texts pushing for an overturn of the 2020 presidential election results. The text allegedly from Jenny Thomas, a conservative activist and former aide to then President Donald Trump, were sent
really? Now we have another reason.
Yeah.
Move on.
And then she was actually... let me back up a little bit.
I'm sorry. I'll shut up, man. It's my fault. It's a serious story, too. I'll stay quiet. My bad.
So a conservative activist and former aide, Jenny was, to then President Donald Trump. These texts were sent to then White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows in the aftermath of the 2020 presidential election. Help this president stand firm, Mark. Virginia Thomas wrote in the November 10th, 2020 message, "You are the leader with him who is standing for America's constitutional governance at the precipice. The majority knows Biden and the left is attempting the greatest heist of our history. Don't concede," she reportedly wrote in another text on November the 5th of 2020. Biden crime family and ballot fraud co-conspirators are being arrested and detained for ballot fraud right now and over the coming days, and will be living in barges off Gitmo to face military tribunals.
And that's current time.
I think she texted that back then in 2020.
Okay, I'm talking about the Gitmo. There's
So
they're
they
currently
would be there
being stored
now.
right outside of Gitmo.
That's what she said. To face military tribunals for sedition, she wrote in a message on the same day. While Thomas never mentions her husband or the Supreme Court in the messages, they were included in more than 2,300 turned over by Meadows to the House Select Committee investigating the Capitol riot, according to the Washington Post. Throughout the committee's investigation, it's requested thousands of documents and records from former Trump aides and the White House. And on Friday, Rep. Ron Wyden, Democrat in Oregon, called on Justice Thomas to recuse himself from any cases related to the January 6th investigation, which, they're having some hearings now. It's not in the Supreme Court, but they probably know it's going to make it there, and they don't want him. They know what he's going to vote.
Where he's leaning on it. Yeah.
Exactly. Judges are obligated to recuse themselves when their participation in a case would create even the appearance of a conflict of interest. A person with an ounce of common sense could see the bar is met here, Wyden said in a statement. But I totally disagree. This is his wife. This isn't something that Clarence himself said.
Right.
And she's got freedom of speech. She can do whatever she wants. Just because she's married to the man, come on. If she never said it publicly the way she felt, you think that husband and wife don't talk between themselves in these matters?
Well, I've seen you and your wife. Oh.
Well, she's Chinese. I can't understand her. I'm like, honey, can you translate? And she gives me a Russian translation because she speaks fluent Russian.
Can I tell the story about the day where you got up to use the restroom, and she and I were? Can I tell that story?
Sure.
The word the word that I misunderstood.
She's gonna kill me, but go ahead.
I don't know.
No, you can't tell her.
Okay.
Don't you dare tell her.
So she's from China. She's a sweetheart of a lady. Sweetheart. Your wife is. I can't say anything more nice about her. She's just a sweetheart, and she's got the Chinese accent. And it was the day before. It was the day before we started, and she go, "You excited for sure?" I said, yeah. I said, Bill and I have been planning this for a while, and yeah, it should be a really fun time. We're going to be talking about serious stories, but we're hoping to have take the edge off the doom and gloom that's out there. And she goes, "Oh, you'll give people listening erection." I go, what? She goes, "You'll give people erection." So I waited for you, and I don't think that's the plan of the show.
Bill, can you come in here?
I don't know what he's telling you. That wasn't the plan. What she meant to say was she's excited for us to have listeners so we can give them direction on stories you might not otherwise hear somewhere else. When she said that, this conversation just took a turn.
I come in the room and he says, "Bill?" And he has this look of confusion on his face like, "Bill?"
What kind of show do you have planned, dude? Because I might have to bow out. I'm keeping my clothes on, brother. So anyway, we corrected her, and that's what she meant. And again, she is a little sweetheart of a lady.
Very innocent.
Yes.
She really is.
So back to Hell on Earth. So yeah, his wife goes on records. Refresh me, man. This could possibly lead to them wanting to take him out.
Well, the word is that the deep state, as you read in your story, that the deep state is wanting to take out conservative justices.
and just stack the deck. Like
Yeah.
who said?
Yeah.
Trump.
Yeah.
Oh, conspiracy theories, you weirdos.
So here's a real quick one for you.
Okay.
Chris Wallace,
Oh, God, yeah.
he's now finally revealing the truth. Oh, did I say truth? He's finally revealing why he left Fox News. He says people started questioning the truth.
Don't do that. Don't question things. Fall in line.
The way I interpreted that was Fox News tells the truth. If you're watching Fox News, what is wrong with you?
Or any mainstream.
Any of it. Turn it off, man. It's poison. I think I did that 4 years ago. I just can't watch any of it. But so
Well, you can tell because whenever I bring up a current story,
I'm
he's like,
huh?
who?
What?
Even the Oscar story with Will Smith and Chris Rock. I say, did you see that? He's like, oh, the Oscars on last night? Everyone's talking about it. Because he's trying to find out if the moon's real.
Question everything.
I'm telling you, that ain't Biden, and it's a mask.
So Chris Wallace, the way I interpreted that was that Fox tells the truth. And people began to question Fox News and their truth. So he left. It's a bunch of BS.
So instead, he went to CNN because that's more reputable.
I mean, it's comical. It's hilarious.
Wow. On Friday, Ron DeSantis. This is another reason Ron DeSantis would make a great president. But I think he should stay in Florida and just keep rocking it down there for a few more years. Friday, Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, signed a bill into law establishing term limits for members of Florida's school boards. And why is that got to be a law? And giving Florida residents increased access to educational materials available to students.
How dare him?
Shouldn't that be common sense? Does a governor have to? I applaud him for that. I'm not slamming him. I'm just saying, isn't that just common sense? Do we need a law? I mean, if you have a child that's going to the local school system, you should know what the curriculum is. You know, hey, you're not there to discuss your political views. You're not there to discuss the sexuality. You're there to teach them English. I'd say history, but that's even questionable now. Math, the basics.
We do need a law.
Because those other topics, when it comes to politics and sexuality, that's in the four walls of your own house. I don't want a teacher with an agenda teaching, even discussing the topic.
Yeah.
Keep it vanilla. Keep it right down the middle. And we got to sign in a law? So prior to signing HB 1467 into law, DeSantis said, quote, "We believe parents not only have a role, they have the fundamental role to be involved in the education of their kids." Duh. And that's how it's going to be in the state of Florida. So applause to him. Their new law places 12-year consecutive term limits for members of school boards in the Sunshine State and requires school districts to be transparent in the selection of instructional materials. Should already be, including library and reading materials. The President of the United States has term limits.
But 12 years, don't you think that's a bit long?
I do. The new law places 12-year consecutive term limits for members of the school boards. 5?
Yeah, 4. I think 4 is plenty.
4 is plenty because if you have, an average high school is 9th through 12th, 9 to 10, 11, that's 4 years.
I don't know, man. The way I trust people, I almost say 2. I mean, seriously.
You've got 3 minutes. Go! But everyone that's, and I'll say this with air quotes too, everyone that's elected into whatever office, they've all got term limits.
Yeah.
Or they should. I know the president, obviously, but they should all have term limits.
They should.
Otherwise, you have elected officials, air quotes, and people that make $125,000 at that position suddenly worth $40 million. Let's not question that, Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah. 100 million. Over 100 million.
She's
So Fauci, he has absolutely nothing to hide in congressional hearings.
Yeah, because we know it all already.
We know all of it. He did.
Ain't nothing to hide, brother.
Yeah. Next story.
Right. Was that it?
That was it. I mean, what else can you say about that?
No, seriously, is there more?
No, that was it.
I didn't mean to cut you off with a punchline.
No, that's it, man. I saw the rest of the story. I'm not even going to read it.
He's got nothing to hide, yeah. Well, he had a lot to hide, actually, but now it's being leaked because of...
It's not even leaked. They're just throwing it right in our face. Basically.
Mm-hmm. You can chalk up another one for progressives, never letting a good crisis go to waste. They have been using the big COV lie, C-O-V, to implement. Why do we say that? Because there's a chance that we could get taken off one of our channels if we... There's key words that people that do similar shows that have already lost channels because we're trying to learn from their mistakes. But anyway, they've been using the big COV lie to implement a host of progressive dream programs, including government handouts, enhanced unemployment benefits, universal mask and mandates, and trillion-dollar government spending packages. A far more insidious yet lesser-known COV-era invention is the end of standardized tests like the SATs and ACTs for admission into college. About 80% of universities in the U.S. eliminated the requirement during the scamdemic. 80% have already eliminated. And here's the typical statement. The California State University understands the challenges that students are facing due to the COV. In response, the CSU, California State University, has temporarily suspended the SATs and ACTs only for students applying for admission in fall of 2022 as freshmen. But, surprise, CSU, the largest public university system in the country, just made that change permanent, joining the more prestigious University of California system that made a similar announcement last year. Additionally, Mr. Universe competitions will no longer require men to work out and look like Arnold Schwarzenegger did in the 70s, stating it's too difficult to get to the gym. Showing up like Chris Farley did at his worst will completely suffice. That last paragraph I made up.
I figured.
So it's too hard because of the scamdemic. Let's do away with it. Is that the dumbing down of...
It's definitely an agenda. No question. And imagine it happened in California first.
Hey, California.
Phil Godlewski tells me, not me, but I mean, I watch him quite a bit. And he's claiming that a number of states are going to decertify. And he claims California will be the first.
Get out of here.
That's what he's saying. And there's 50 electoral votes. If you think about that, that makes the most sense because it can happen that fast. 50 votes back to Trump, Biden's out of here. Nobody else needs to decertify at that point.
So does that mean he just goes right back in?
Oh no! Oh my God! There'll be World War III.
Well, we've already got that. Apparently,
we got it. Yeah, yeah.
Where you been, bro?
I mean, I'm sorry, 4.
Right. We got 3 and 4 happening.
It's just so fast I can't keep up. But no. I'm sure there'll be all the Supreme Court and all the riots and all the burning down.
How can you not be? I refuse to believe that there's that many people that are still leaning that way after the mayhem of the last almost year and a half now, year and a quarter. I can't imagine. I mean, you look at the rallies, you look across the country just before the changing of the guard, and you had all these. They weren't even Trump rallies. They were being organized by him and his people. They were just people that people that owned pickup trucks were just getting together and driving through cities with their Trump flags on. And there's
the boats,
thousands, and then the boat parades.
Yeah,
I haven't seen a Biden yard sign or a bumper sticker, and everything's leaning Trump.
It is. It's 2%, as I understand it, 2% making all this noise to the other 98%. And the dork 98% are not believing it. You know
So
what I mean?
if
It's just-
if they had,
or I should say, are believing it.
so if everything was decertified and Trump, we're moving your furniture back up to D.C. now. If that happened, would there be mayhem in the streets? I would say it had to be staged by certain organizations.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was legit people just losing their crap.
None of it's legit, in my opinion. It's all
You've stated that.
paid off. Soros. I said Soros. Paying it all off, man. It's all part of their plan, this new world order.
Which you can't even call a conspiracy theory anymore because the
President said...
puppet.
Yeah, the puppet. I'm sorry. I shouldn't cuss like that.
Right.
Everybody's going to turn us off now.
He just said it last week. He said it right out there in public, and we have to lead it.
Yeah.
And what else happened over the weekend where they had to backpedal on everything that he said in front of a live mic over the weekend overseas there?
I didn't see that. I heard something about it, but I'm not clear on the
Well, there's a lot. So why don't we start planning tomorrow's show, and then we'll also get to the story that's unfolding. You're going to want it tomorrow's show, Tuesday. You're going to want tomorrow's show. We've got, it's scary as hell, unfortunately.
It's a wake-up call. It's going to bring your consciousness back to reality. Seriously, it's something to think about.
It's huge. It's right there in Flynn.
Flynn
Backs it all up, and he says this is not a conspiracy.
What they are planning for us.
And the guy that we have audio from, saying it, he's a close advisor for Bill Gates,
Obama,
the Clintons.
I can't remember.
Everyone's on record with this. This ain't just a couple of righties going. That happens after the show. We didn't start with our inspirational moment.
Well, we need it about now.
Yeah, we need a little goodness.
We needed to really pour on the filth and the dirt and just the negativity to make you really appreciate this next part.
Before I get to the positive message for the day, the meme that I really dug over the weekend. It's I'll just read it to you. The people who ruin the world have ties and business suits, not tattoos and bikes.
Amen.
And it's a picture of a biker giving the middle finger to the camera. If you can see that, I love it. Can they see that?
Maybe.
If you pause and zoom in. But anyway, big thumbs up to our bikers listening. They're some of the best people on the planet.
Yeah, they are.
I had a buddy of mine that was a biker when I lived up in Milwaukee, and shout out to my boy Grizz. Just a great soul, man, and such a good dude. I almost tear up just thinking about the guy because he was there for me anytime my family needed it. He installed. Man, dude, I miss you, Grizz. You know who you are. Diehard biker, and if you were to walk in right now, most people would go, And it's like, no.
He'd be carrying a puppy.
Yeah, that's who he is.
Yeah.
And he was a good man to have him. I miss him, man. He lives up in Milwaukee.
Bikers are some really good guys.
He's a good dude.
They really are.
And
Patriots.
I really miss him. We got to have a cold beer again soon. Let's see. Which one did I want to go with? That risk you're afraid to take could be the one that changes your entire life. Got to put your faith in God. Got to take the leap. If you want a good message on taking the leap, jump, Google the jump speech from Steve Harvey. It's part of the reason I said yes to this. Leaving corporate radio and going into this reinvigorated me. And I love what we're doing. But regardless of your line of work or whatever you want to be doing for a living, I'm just going to use our careers, whatever your career at home might be. That risk you're afraid to take could be the one that changes your entire life. Sometimes, we all know people that are just kind of paying the bills with the job they happen to fall into. And God gave us all talents, gifts, passions, and you're supposed to use them. And it's
time.
Scary. No, it's scary to take that leap.
It is.
But they often say that, if you love what you do for a living, you never work a day in your life. And some of us are getting back to that because that's the reason I originally got into radio. And then you just kind of get sucked up in the corporate game and you lose the passion and you just start becoming a machine.
Yeah.
And anyway, put your faith in God. Get back to church. Pick up the Bible. Read a page or two a day. Do something good for somebody else. Because the feeling you get back is tenfold. And that's awesome. So.
And do us a favor, keep us in your prayers as we do this. We do want to monetize it. We want to do this for a living. And the bills keep coming in. So if you can give, we do appreciate it. You can do that through the the Rumble Rant. There's a little comment section there with a little money bag, and you can click that and give if you can. We very much appreciate that. We don't like asking for money. We don't like talking about that.
Hey, you got a quarter?
Yeah. You need at least that. We are all over the place. You can find us freedomringshow.com. Of course, we do a show before this one on radio from 9 until 10 a.m. in Cincinnati.
And we get to play anything we want because Bill owns the radio station.
Do what I want.
He shouldn't be peddling for money.
Well,
send it this way. No.
Being that it's nonprofit, there's not much money
It'll
in it.
fund the show.
Yeah, it'll fund what we're doing. You can listen to that 9 to 10 a.m. show.
Eastern.
And that's on ClassXradio.com. Subscribe, like, and share when you're watching the show. We're on Rumble. We're on Bitchute, and we are on YouTube now. You can join our Facebook group at the Freedom Ring. We're also on Gab.com. If you go to the groups and search the Freedom Ring, you'll find us there. And emails, freedomringshow@gmail.com.
Did you get all that? Did you get all that?
Just rewind and push play again.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. And huge story. It's scary, but it's real. And again, mainstream media not touching it.
They're not talking about it.
I'm Matt Toludo. That's Bill Spry. This is the Freedom Ring. We'll see you tomorrow.